Hey guys, welcome back. So before you on the screen, you can see a demo scene for the Advanced Scope Unity package that will be linked in the description, and you can get that for free right now. So in the demo scene, we have some text that reads, press W to aim the rifle. So if we press W, you can see it brings the rifle up, and R to put it back down. And then E zooms in more. Press W again, goes out. W, E, R. Okay? And you'll also notice that when I press W to aim the rifle, you can see along the edges of the screen, the sides, it does a post-processing effect. It goes away once the rifle is down. So just watch that. Do that. It blurs the outside and keeps the center clear. So that's a cool effect. It's really easy to add with this system. Okay, so let's take a look at this. If we come to the demo scene right here, included it in the package, Advanced Scenes, and right there, demo scene. That's this one. And it's already set up, so as soon as you import this into your project, you can immediately hit play on this and just see how it works. But if we head over to the rifle prefab here, that's this, drop down, you'll notice your scope camera. So basically how this works is there's a camera at the end of the gun at the spot that the bullet's going to come out so that you can accurately aim your bullet. And there's a render texture inside of the scope. So if we go here, scope view, view, you can see a circular disc right there. And that's going to be the render texture. So we pull that out. Let me just pull it out a little more. And press F to focus on it. And if I grab my camera and I push this up, you can see that's updating. So if you put that inside your scope, you can change the field of view and create a zooming effect inside of the scope. And that is how this whole system works. So if we go ahead and put that back in the gun where it belongs, just like that, we can go over to the scope camera and you scroll down and you can see output texture. This needs to be your render texture, which is right here. I set this one to 1024 by 1024. But it needs to be set in the output texture. That means it's going to render on top of that to make it look like a scope. Alright? And by the way, this gun model I got for free. And I will put a link to it in the description, so you can pick that up yourself as well. Alright, now if we go over to rifle prefab, you can see Advanced Scope Script here. So first field is the scope camera. So that is what we just looked at the end of the gun, right there, scope camera. Animator, which is in this case the rifle object itself, it's right there. This is just going to control the animations that play when you press certain things. So like in this case the W, the E, and the R, that's aim, zoom, all that. And the next one is the aiming post-processing effect. Okay, and in essence what this does is in the script, when I press the zooming key and when the animation plays for it to bring the rifle up, it's going to go down here on the post-processing that you've drug in. As long as you have depth of field, override post-processing depth of field, and the mode set to off, then this will simply set it to Gaussian, if that's how you pronounce it, when you press the button. So, as you can see in the game window, It adds a blurry effect to the things that are farther away. You can change the things. You can see it blurs closer, make it blur really far away. You can see a line kind of on the ground almost. But 1 works really well for this case. So basically what that does, if we go over back to the rifle, post-processing takes that, goes over here, and swaps this from off to Gaussian. Or, I mean, you could add any effect you want for this, and do the same thing with color adjustments, change the saturation, zooms, add more vignette. You can do all sorts of stuff with this. Increase bloom when you're zooming, or decrease it. All sorts of things. Possibilities are endless. Yes, so this is what the aiming post-processing effect field is. Hey guys, this is me in post-processing, and I just wanted to add, so a benefit of using this method that involves a scoped camera, this as opposed to like using, just like zooming the whole camera, or using a shader that would zoom in or whatever, a benefit of using this method is that you can really easily add custom effects to the scope, through the scope camera, by like post-processing, which would only affect that camera, or kind of like I did in the demo scene, when I created a depth of field effect. When you were aiming the scope, it blurred around the scope, but the scope itself, it was clear. And the scope camera was not affected by that. And that made it so that I could add a blurry effect on the outside and keep the center crystal clear. But you can do all sorts of stuff with that, create all cool post-processing effects there, and you can also add other effects to the camera that would only affect the scope camera. So you can make it so there's like dirt on the scope, so it's a little bit harder to see through. We got like a crack in the scope looks like. You can make the scope do things like look through walls. The possibilities are endless. You can add all sorts of things because this is a separate camera. Yeah, so I just thought I'd throw that in, and I'll stop talking and let you get back to the video. If we go down to the zoom properties, we have default zoom strength. So I'm going to hit play here so you can see these in action for best testing and to show you. Alright, so what default zoom strength is when I press the W key, you can see it brings up right there. If I increase this, it's going to go over to the camera, scope camera, and increase the field of view, which is going to make the zoom wider, so it'll be less zoomed in, the effect. Okay, just like that. If I decrease it, it's going to decrease the field of view when I press the button, and it zooms in a whole lot. And you can also see a nice smoothing effect. It doesn't just jump immediately. It's a very nice smoothing effect. The computer is a little bit slow, but it's a nice smoothing effect to make it, well, more smooth. So I'm going to put that back where it was. Okay. Power zoom strength. So this is when I press the E key, how much it zooms in, as opposed to the W. So it's that extra zoom. The same exact thing. If I put it high, it'll zoom out. You can have two like that, or you can zoom really far in. That's obviously way too zoomed in, but you get my point. You can change all these things. And these sliders here, you can change the max and min values in the code itself. It's really easy, but I just added these because I don't think you're going to really zoom in more than 0.1 or zoom out more than 60. Okay, and lastly, zoom speed. This is affecting the smoothing. So again, if we press E key and W key, you can see it has that nice smoothing. If we put it up to 10, you can see it's almost instant snappiness. If I put it down to 0.1, you can see it's super slow. Still zooming in. You can change this to whatever you would like. but 3 is pretty good. Okay, just like that. So this covers the script. If you'd like to take a look at it yourself, you can pick it up in the description, link to it, and this is free to use in your projects for personal use or commercial. The script, you can see the header affects the bold heading there, and then here's the slider. Well, there's a tooltip. When you hold your mouse over it, tells you stuff. And lastly, well, no, there's space. And also I have range right there, which, like I was saying before, 0.1 and 60, you can just change those or take it away completely, whatever you would like. With the script, you can sit here and you can open it up and change stuff, add more things, take things away, whatever you'd like. Yeah, all this is included, so you can import into your project and get started right away. So, if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I'd appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.